All right, howdy folks. This is BelGeode, and this is another test video, or as I like to call them, a chill vid. I will remind you that the chill videos do not have the full suite of production, so there's no theme song, there's no fancy title screens or ending credits or any of that good jazz that you're probably used to seeing in my quote-unquote official Microsoft Flight Simulator videos. But suffice to say, I use the chill vid to preview products and so on and so forth, or just to fly the bird and give you my thoughts on an update and whatnot. I will remind you we are rocking Sim Update 7 right now. We're still waiting for some kind of hot fix for VR. No idea when that's coming. I've heard that they're going to be doing a beta test for the hot fix coming soon. So hopefully that'll iron out all the issues that us VR users have had. And I will also remind you I'm using the Oculus Rift S as my VR headset. I am recording this directly from the Oculus Mirror, which is known to cause some stuttering, and it may cause the resulting video to appear like it's losing FPS. That is not the case inside the headset. It's actually pretty smooth inside the headset. All right, so we're here in Greece, or more accurately, we are in Athens, Greece. LGAV, I believe, is the ICAO code for this airport. And you can see this lady walking around impatiently here. This is an airport that I got from Orbx. I don't believe it is one of the in-house Orbx airports. I believe it's one of their partners that made it. So I'll have all of that popping up in the commentary below, and it'll also be listed in the video description where you can purchase this. The reason why I got this is I wanted to show off this plane, which is not yet released, but is supposed to be this month, December 2021. This is the SimWorks Studios Quest Kodiak, or I guess it's the Daher Kodiak. I'm not sure how that all works. I think Daher bought out Quest or something like that. I'm not 100% certain. All I know is it's the Kodiak. You can see on the tail. It says it right there. It's a Kodiak. And this is so freaking awesome. It's probably the worst kept secret for me in this simulator. My favorite of the default Asobo aircraft is the Cessna Caravan. If I'm flying GA, 9 times out of 10, I'm flying that one. However, this aircraft might actually put me in the mood to never fly the Caravan again because it is so well done. We'll take a quick look at the textures here. So you can see that. I probably don't even need to say anything. You can just let the video speak for itself, even though to you it may look a little bit stuttery. But yeah, look at that. Look at that tail. Got your static wicks in the back and everything. Everything just looks so cool on this thing. I would assume that's probably some kind of weather radar. I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I didn't go through the entire manual for it. I just kind of took it on faith that I kind of know how to fly these ones, at least virtually. But yeah, just look at that. So well done. This is the kind of quality that I love to see in an add-on developer. SimWorks Studios does not disappoint. I have shown off their Zenith before, or Zenith, however you want to pronounce it. I plan on doing another video with the Zenith, or Zenith as the case may be. I'm just going to call it Zenith, like the old TV. So you can expect that at some point in time, and that'll probably also be a chill video because I've already done an official review of that product. But because this one is not yet released, that's why we're doing it as a chill video. All right, so as is customary, we go through the various camera options. So let's go to the static cam. Now, one thing I can complain a little bit about with SimWorks Studios, they don't put a lot of static camera options. So we've got this camera here, which is pretty much right on top of the tailplane there. We've got this camera here, which is just under the left wing, so you can see the pilot, and you can see that I've added some passengers. We'll talk about them in a second. And then we've got the opposite side. That's it. That's all we've got. There's no landing gear cam or, any of the other funky angles that I really like. It's just that. And then, of course, we've got this weird external camera. I'm pretty sure that Asobo added this in Sim Update 7 as some kind of static camera for flybys and stuff like that. But at least you can get a good idea of Athens Airport. It actually looks really good. It looks really good. There's some areas that are a little bit questionable, but overall, I think they did a dang good job on this. I quite like it. All right, so we're going to put it to this camera again, and of course we'll wait for everybody to pop up. There we go. Okay, and now we're going to go into the cockpit because I want to show you another cool thing that you can do with this aircraft. Okay, so probably the first thing that came to your mind is, why are you in the back of the plane, Bell? Well, I've deliberately moved my camera around. You can do that in VR. You have to set up like a X, Y axis or Z axis, so that way it will allow you to use like a thumbstick, which I have on my Virtual throttle, as your axis command, so we can move around there. So I've deliberately put myself in the back behind these nifty little SWS boxes. Perfect product placement, by the way, SimWorks Studios. That was really good. And I love the fact that they called it Special Wings Service. We have no idea what we're transporting. All we know is we can't get it wet and it's fragile. So I'm just going to go with that. But what I really wanted to show you is the fact that here we can close or open the doors. So we've got the bottom one closed. We've got the top one closed, and then of course we can latch the handles. So there's that one, and there's that one. So just like that, we're all buttoned up. And now I can move myself back to the front. Of course, I've got to virtually hop over these boxes and phase through the cargo netting. We've got our passenger here. Hello there, lady. Hope you're enjoying the flight so far. We haven't taken off, but I'm glad to see that you're buckled up. And we've got another passenger here. Hello there, red-headed lady. Thank you for flying with us. We sincerely hope you enjoy your flight to Skiathos today. That's where we're going. I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. All right, I'm going to get in this seat here. And of course, we've got our trusty co-pilot, Kara. Yay! Thank you, Kara, for joining me on this flight. Now, you can add extra passengers in there. And I should mention that this particular livery that we're rocking, all the liveries that they have various configurations. So this one is called the mixed configuration. It makes sense. You got cargo in the back, you got passengers in the front. It's a mixed load. You could have all passengers, you could have all cargo, you could have a skydive setup, which is basically like an empty cockpit, but it's got, I believe, side doors that you can open up so your skydivers can jump out. You also have the Tundra tire variant, and from my understanding, there's going to be a float plane and ski plane variants as well, but those aren't there just yet. So in order to add extra passengers or remove passengers, you simply add weights to the fuel and payload page, and that will of course add passengers. You want to make it realistic though. You don't want to make like 1,000-pound passenger or even a 50-pound passenger. You want to do something along the lines of like 150 pounds to 200 pounds, that sort of thing. But as always, be careful when you're loading up just to make sure you're not overloading the bird. But yeah, our two ladies are perfectly positioned, and with the cargo in the back, everything's all balanced out, so this is good. This is really good. All right, so how about we get this puppy started, and we're going to fly to Skiathos. Skiathos is also an Orbx product, so that's why I've chosen that as our destination airport. It really should not take us too long to get there, but I kind of have a flight plan in mind that's going to take us over the Acropolis here in Athens. So that's why I've chosen that. All right, but let's close our door, and that way we can get everything started up. And we can lock it with this. And we'll also open up a little storm window here. All right, so let's get started. First thing we need, battery, which also, in my case, turns on the generator and alternator, which is fine. Go ahead and push this. As you can see, it is a G1000 aircraft. I know some people do not like G1000. This one is designed for G1000. So if you plan on getting this bird, bear that in mind. That is a thing with this aircraft. Now, I do want to call your attention really quick to a bug that I have noticed. I don't know.
Test. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Betty. I don't know if this is specific to like AMD graphics cards or what, but I've noticed sometimes I get this texture bug where we've got just weird textures placed all over the ground, and it also seems to appear on our map. So you'll notice you've got some weird missing spots there. You've got that funky looking blue thing. No clue what any of that is or why it is doing that. But if there's anyone from Asobo or Microsoft watching, can you please investigate this and find out why it looks like Greece is being extended into the Aegean Sea here? It just does not look right at all. So I'm going to put it back to this zoom level. Okay, let's get our lights on. So I want my nav lights, and I also want my beacon lights. Okay, we're going to put our fuel pump to standby. Starting this thing is relatively easy. If you know how to start a PT6 turboprop engine, it's pretty much the same. So we've got the start switch, we've got the ignition that you hit almost immediately after, and then you want to get your fuel condition lever up to low idle, wait for everything to start up, and then bring it up to high idle when you're ready to taxi. Prop pitch, we definitely want to have that at least to the lowest prop pitch setting. I like to put it there because this thing does like to taxi, and even though I've got the parking brakes on, if I were to take the parking brakes off, yeah, this thing will start running away. No bueno, no bueno. Okay, other things we need to do. Let's get our main fuel valve open, and we'll start both tanks. So left and right. There we go. So both tanks are open, and we're pretty much ready for a startup. So here's how it works. Put this to high start. Make sure we got some activity going on in the front. We certainly do. We need some sparky, so there we go. Igniter on. Everything's starting to come up, and we'll go ahead and get our idle up. And we'll just watch the gauges do their magic. Temperature's coming up. ITT looks good. That's our engine temperature there. RPM is low because I have the prop pitch low, but our torque is looking good, and our NG percentage is looking good as well. As you can see, we've got a fair amount of gas. About 60% gas should be more than plenty for us to pull off this route. Let me make sure that my flight plan is in. Looks like it is. Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's active, but I guess we'll figure that out momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and set this to GPS. Yeah, LGAV to time climb, which is that thing that they added in there for whatever reason. All right. Now that we've got a good start, we can turn the starter itself off. And I believe we can also put the ignition off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Get our avionics bus and our aux bus on. So everything should be good. Battery should be looking good. We should be drawing enough amps. Yes, battery and amps, all are good. Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and set our cruise altitude to 8,000 feet. It defaulted to 10,000 for this time around. I don't know why. We want to set that to 8,000. And Miss Kara, I believe I have your AI turned off, so I will need to activate that. Now, this actually brings to mind a bug that has been plaguing us in VR. If I just click on a toolbar there, you'll notice absolutely nothing happens. What we need to do, once we're in the cockpit, we need to hit left control 0, and that is the 0 above your letters on your keyboard. The cockpit does tend to jump a little bit there. Why? I have no idea. It's probably a controls binding issue, but I'm going to push myself back forward here. But if we open it up now and use the mouse, I'd be willing to bet we can finally click on that. All right, Kara, you are handling all our ATC comms. That is all I want you to do.
November 2907 Kilo Quebec requesting pushback.
No, we don't need a pushback. Why are you pushing us back? Kara, why did you do that? You're going to kill this poor person. Oh, lady, I feel so bad for you. You're about to get chopped up into a million pieces. She's still doing her thing, because apparently she needs that paycheck. I'm guessing they've got a really good insurance plan and a really good workman's compensation company, because, yeah. RIP. Okay, so while she's doing that, I am going to set our taxi lights to on. There we go. And there's also this thing called the Inertial Separator, which is useful when you're on the ground and below 2,500 feet, because it will keep foreign objects out of the engine or out of the intakes. So you're going to want to turn it off once you get high enough up, but it's very useful to have it on the ground. And I think it's also part of the checklist procedure. So even with something like the TBM 930, which is of course default, it's something you need to do.
Quebec requesting the end of pushback. Kodiak November 297 Kilo Quebec request to end pushback received.
Alright, let's put parking brakes back on.
Kodiak November 297 Kilo Quebec with Charlie request taxi for takeoff east departure.
While she's doing that, I will set our transponder up. Oh, it's already on 7,000. PFD, wind, option 3.
Taxiing hold short runway tree right using taxiway Charlie Delta 1 Kodiak November 297 Kilo Quebec.
Okay, 3 right is what they want us to go to, which is just to our right. I've got the winds set up, so we've got a little bit of a headwind, 2 knot wind, not too bad. And I want to set bearing 1 and bearing 2 because I'll be using that during the flight. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I need to set. All right, let's do a quick controls wipeout. So left, right, up and down, rudders, looking good. Flaps, let's pull them through. Flap 1, flap 2, flap 3. Is there a flap 4? I don't know that there is. I think that's it, just 3 flap settings. Okay, so we'll keep it on flaps 1 for now. Bearing in mind, this is a very long runway. We probably don't even need flaps for this takeoff. But it's going to be an interesting takeoff. We're actually going to take off and then go make a UE, so that way we can head to the Acropolis and check that out from the outside view. All right, but I think we're just about ready to taxi here. I'm going to pull my prop pitch up to full prop pitch, but we're going to keep the mixture as is, or excuse me, the fuel condition. I always have to remember that it's a different terminology in a turboprop than it is in just a regular old piston engine. So yeah, mixture is fuel condition, prop pitch is, well, I guess still prop pitch, and throttle is actually power lever. It's the same thing. I don't care what anybody says, it's the same thing. All right, let's go ahead and close our window. You'll notice the sounds changed. Oh, there's even a cup holder here. Look at that. It's a little cup holder. Of course, I don't have anything to drink, so yeah. All right, moving out. Parking brakes off, and we'll give it some gas. Oh, lady, why are you messing with me here? Yeah, you'd better stay there. You'd better stay there. We are moving out. Is my parking brakes off? It certainly is. Lady, really? I swear, these people have a death wish. Okay, we're going to taxi this way. That way we'll stay out of the way of everyone. Alright, so it really shouldn't take us too long to get to the runway, although I completely forgot what Kara set us up for, so let me just open up the ATC window here. 3 right, taxiway Charlie D1. Okay, Delta 1 that is. So the reason why I bought this airport is because the taxiway lights are actually how they're supposed to be. The default, I didn't like the default. It kept putting the taxiway lights that are on pylons, the blue ones, on the center line. Obviously, that's not correct. No aircraft is going to run over that stuff. That's just ridiculous. All right, let me give it a little brakes here. Like I said, this thing loves to taxi. It really does. All right, our hold short is up there. I believe that is the end of the runway. Yeah, those look like approach lights to me. Okay. And the map's still not helping me here. Look at that. It's just crazy. Asobo, fix your stuff. Stop getting sucked in by marketing. I know that's what's happening. Can't convince me otherwise. Alright, here's our hold short line. Free right. I love the fact that this runway has these little undulations here. That's realistic. Alright, Kara.
Kodiak, November 297 Kilo Quebec ready at runway tree right east departure.
I'm gonna get my strobes
Kodiak,
on.
November 297 Kilo Quebec altimeter 29.80 function alphabet equals X Microsoft UPS PH equals WIHND wind/funny
You hear that?
015 at 7. East departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway tree right.
Cleared for takeoff runway tree right Kodiak, November 297 Kilo Quebec.
Okay, so there's a couple of things going on here. First and foremost, the ATC. What the heck was it just reading? I have no clue, because it started saying something about Microsoft, whatever, when it's really just supposed to say altimeter 29.80, wind 015 at 7. It went through some crazy stuff, and I don't know why Kara is referring to us as November 297 Kilo Quebec when we are clearly November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo. Did you forget what aircraft you're on? All right, but with that having been said, we're going to go ahead and take off. So I will pull our mixture all the way up. So we're at high idle, and actually, you know what? It's probably easier to just do it that way. We'll get our fuel pump on, and we will also get our pitot heat on, just in case we need it. All the lights are already on. I took the liberty of doing that while Kara was getting clearance for us. And let's get our parking brakes off. I haven't even added throttle yet. You see we're already moving. I love the landing lights, by the way. I love the fact that you can see them on this gloriously overcast day. What I can't see is whether or not there's any traffic coming. We're going to assume there is not. Sometimes that's a fatal assumption, but I imagine our TCAS would have already warned us. Alright folks, so you know what it's normally time for. Brakes down, throttles up. We're going to forego the brakes down part. We're just going to go throttles up. We're going to bring it up to about 85% throttle. Make sure the gauges are all green. Yep, looking good, looking good. I have not trimmed. We're still at neutral trim, but we should just lift off the ground if I barely tug us back. Just like that. That was a little bit more dramatic than I was kind of hoping for, but yeah, we're up. And I'm going to go ahead and get our flaps up. That'll at least bring the nose down somewhat. We're keeping the throttle exactly at 85%. There's pretty much nothing I need to do with the throttle from here on out. It can stay exactly the way it is. We'll take one last look at Athens Airport as we make our way out.
Kodiak, November 297 Kilo Quebec, continue for east departure.
Tower Kodiak,
And I need more
November
rudder according to this.
297 Kilo Quebec, continue for east departure.
So for this time climb thing that keeps popping up on the F or the flight plan, I almost called it the F plan, but that's basically what it is. It's a flight plan. The way to accomplish that, you need to check your nav log. when you're on a world map and you put in your flight plan. Your nav log tells you what altitude you need to be at in order to achieve the parameters for the time climb. Right now, we are at 900 feet, which is, of course, where we need to be for the time climb at 2 miles out from the airport. So once we pass the 2-mile mark, it will switch right there to the next waypoint, SL21, which is also conveniently directly ahead of us. You can see it right there. So at this point in time, what I can do is I can actually activate the autopilot and have that pretty much take control. So I'm just setting us up at the right altitude, or the right attitude, I should say. And we are going to go AP on, flight director on, nav hold on, and of course I can let go of the rudder. It will do its thing. There we go. Now we are crabbing a little because you will notice we now have a tailwind 34 or 24 knots. This is our waypoint, so we're automatically making the turn. Look at that.
Approach Kodiak November 297 Kilo Quebec is type 5 miles northeast of Eleftherios Venizelos 1,400 feet. Request flight following.
Kodiak November 297 Kilo Quebec approach. Squawk 5446.
Squawk 5446 Kodiak November 297 Kilo Quebec.
And there's our airport.
Kodiak November 297 Kilo Quebec radar contact 5 miles northeast of Eleftherios Venizelos 1,600 feet.
All right.
Altimeter 29.80.
Roger Kodiak November 297 Kilo Quebec.
Okay. Thank you very much for all of that, Kara. I really appreciate you. So Kara has confirmed that our altimeter is 29.80, and we've got some pretty good speed going here. I am now going to turn on our VS, and with that I will set us up again at about 600 feet per minute ascent. I do know that we have some mountains there between us and Athens proper, where the Acropolis is. So hopefully we'll be able to get over that. I just want to make sure that we are out of our flap limit speed. So you can see we're coming up at about 113, 114 knots. This aircraft, because it's a turboprop, it is known for its power. It does have a lot of thrust. I do know that Sim Update 7 had stymied SimWorks Studios for a little bit because the thrust numbers weren't on the money after Sim Update 7, but I believe they have gotten it fixed with this particular version of the beta here. So yeah, this is supposed to be what it's like. And I keep looking at that airport. That is just so well designed. That looks real. There's no other way to say it, folks. That looks real. Quite impressed. Quite impressed. Alright. I suppose we should probably zoom this out, huh? Let's see if it's going to do the same thing. Of course it is. Of course it is. And I've noticed that my purple line, my magenta line, has disappeared. The Acropolis should be right over here. So we're currently adjusting, heading towards it. I do know there are mountains up ahead because I can see them on the synthetic vision here. But I also know as long as we're over 3,000 feet, we should be fine. And we are going up to 8,000 feet. So at this rate of climb and with this power that we have, we should be able to make it. But since we are over 3,000 feet, we can now turn off the inertial separator. We will also turn off our taxi lights and our landing lights. And I'm also going to turn off the fuel pump. I'm pretty sure we're not going to run into any fuel issues. Of course, that could always be famous last words. I'm drinking a little water here, folks. Talking a lot, yeah, does that. Okay, but since we're pretty much good to go, let's go to the outside view and check out Greece. Okay, so we got a little bit of weather, but that's okay. And we're about halfway to the Acropolis right now, so that is good. That's that little triangle. In fact, it even says right there, Acropolis of Athens. It recognizes it as a POI. Now, of course, we won't be able to see it from inside the cockpit, but what I'll do is, well, provided there's no clouds there, I'll go to the outside view and I'll just kind of pan around with my head, so that way you can see what the Acropolis looks like, at least from above. Won't be able to see it from the ground, obviously, because, well, we're already at 5,000 feet. But let me check all of our gauges here, make sure everything's looking good. RPM does seem a little high. Alright, there we go.
Going to 121.4 Kodiak, November 297 Kilo, Quebec. Approach Kodiak, November 297 Kilo, Quebec, 5,200 feet.
Kodiak, November 297 Kilo, Quebec, approach altimeter 29.80, continue as planned.
There's a built-up part of Athens right there, or at least the beginnings of it. You can look over the dash here and check out more of it. You know, I didn't realize just how big Athens really is. But I guess it kind of makes sense. We're talking about a city that's, you know, thousands of years old. That's pretty cool. That is really cool. Look at all them football pitches down there, too. Acropolis should be dead ahead, so we'll go back to the outside view and see if we can find it. There it is. There it is. That is the Acropolis on top of that, I want to say it's a marble summit. Could be wrong. I'm not 100% certain as to the type of earth that's underneath it there. But that's what it looks like from above. So you got the Parthenon and all that good jazz there. I remember learning about this stuff when I was an architecture major in college before I switched to art. But that looks like a pretty decent representation of it. I'm sure if we were lower, we could get more dramatic views of it, but yeah, it's not bad. I'll have to make it a point to go visit the pyramids of Egypt next. Alright, so this also means we're at our waypoint, so the Kodiak is doing its nifty little turn here. It seems to want to turn at a 45 to 60 degree bank. I'm not sure if that is correct. But I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with it. At least we did not overshoot, which is important. Alright, how are we doing on wind? We now have a 24 knot crosswind. Holy crap. Okay, we are going to be crabbing this whole way there. Our next waypoint, though, is going to be over a Greek Air Force base. I want to say TGG is the VOR at that Air Force base. So I'm actually going to punch that into our nav radio, so that way we can track it. You'll notice right now it says IATL, which I believe is the ILS for Athens Airport. So we're going to need to change that. Alright, so I want nearest, and then I want to set it to nearest VOR. Wait for it to populate. And what are we looking for? TGG. So we'll push the cursor, and we'll swing that down to TGG. And what I'm trying to get here is the frequency, which is 111.80. Okay, so now that I'm armed with that information, we're going to set up nav 1, 111.80, and then swap. So, if we look at both of these, it now says nav 1 is guiding us to TGG, which is 19.3 nautical miles. We can confirm 19.1, yeah, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. Okay, so we are headed in the right direction. Let me turn this off, and we're going to back out of this. Put it back to the map. All right, now we're looking good. Now we are looking good. Okay, so we'll check in on our passengers here. I don't think they're gonna complain too much, but just want to make sure they're doing well. Girl in the back is looking good, and And redheaded lady back here is also looking good. My SWS packages have not shifted, so this is great. This is really great. The other thing that I like about this, now that I figured out the controls to move myself in VR, I can actually get out of my seat since Kara's got it here. And I can put myself back here in this seat behind Kara. So there we go. Now I have become a passenger in my own aircraft. This is what flight simming is all about, folks. You set yourself up on autopilot, your co-pilot is handling everything, or, you know, the autopilot as the case may be. You hang out in the back, sip some gin and juice, and talk to a redhead who isn't saying much. Are you sure you're enjoying the flight? I don't think you're enjoying the flight. You don't look like you're enjoying the flight. You look like you are scared witless right now. I'm a bad pilot, aren't I? Sitting back here. I'm going to go back to my seat. And we're going to go back to the outside view, by the way. Oh, another important thing that they changed. I don't know if anyone really noticed it or not. When you move yourself around in a cockpit, you cannot go outside the bounds of the aircraft. So if I go left, it stops me right there. That's to prevent you from clipping through the glass and whatnot. Personally, I love it. But there have been a couple of people that have complained that they don't love it. They want to be able to go outside of the aircraft. Personally, I think this is more realistic, so I'm glad they put it in there. It's going to be one of those few times that I'm going to agree to disagree with you, because I think this was a good idea. If you want to go outside the plane, that's what drone camera is for. And I'll show you. We can do so much more in drone camera anyway. So I'm going to set us up here. And when we go in, see, look at that. We are now in the plane. Of course, we're way too high. But yeah. And you'll also notice once we get inside the plane, the pilot disappears because it is assumed you are the pilot. But yeah, really cool stuff.
Kodiak November 2907 Kilo Quebec contact Tanagra approach on 120.25. Good day.
120.25 Kodiak November 2907 Kilo Quebec. Tanagra approach Kodiak November 2907 Kilo Quebec 8,000 feet. Kodiak November 2907 Kilo Quebec Tanagra approach altimeter 29.74 continue to Tango Golf Golf as planned.
I'm telling you folks, as far as bush planes, STOL planes go, this one definitely feels ready for prime time. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm hard pressed to find something that I dislike about this aircraft. It's so well done. And I realized that it kind of took them a while to come out with it, and obviously it's still not out as of the time of my recording this. But it's so worth the wait. If you enjoy STOL planes, bush planes, you know, caravan type of planes, I really think you're going to enjoy this one. I really do. At least I know I am so far. And like I said, it does have the G1000, which I know a lot of you are not really into, but I don't have a problem with it. I've said before on this channel, I've flown aircraft that actually do have G1000 in it, and my experience with the flight sim actually helped me as far as understanding what I was looking at and making sense of it. I don't find a problem with G1000. It gives you all the information you need, really, and it is rather easy to use once you figure out the parameters, you know, what it is that you need to do to make it do what you want it to do. That's a lot to do. I'm going to go back to the outside view as we overfly this airbase. Okay, so now that we've passed the airbase, you're going to notice that our bearings are going to start counting up. And we are going to need to add the next waypoint in. So let me just figure out what that is. And actually, you know what? I don't like using this one because it's really small. I should also make you aware, I don't typically have zoom enabled in VR. I don't like it. I know it makes life a ton easier, especially for those of you watching this, for you to actually see what's going on. For me, I want it to feel as real as it can get, which means if I were in a real G1000, and this has been proven, I've done it, I would need to do this to see really tiny things. That's just the way I am. My eyesight is not 100% perfect, so leaning in, that's really what I would have to do if I were in this thing. All right, so SKP, I believe, is the VOR that we need. So, with that knowledge, I am going to set this thing to nearest. And let's see, where's SKP? Oh, don't tell me I'm going to have to search for it. I'm probably going to have to search for it. That's SKS. Nope, there it is, SKP. Went right past it. All right, so that is SKP, and we want frequency 113.40. Go ahead and set that in nav. 113.40. Swap. No data. Ah, there we go. 42 miles. Shoo! Okay. So a little over half of that distance is the waypoint that we're going to get to before we get to SKP, which is perfectly fine by me. That will actually give us some time to come down. Oh, come on, thing. This thing is sensitive. If there's only one thing that I can really complain about with this GPS, is the fact that it does feel a little too sensitive. But it looks like the map is finally working again, so I'm okay with that. So it looks like we'll stay in this airspace until we reach closer to Skiathos, and then we'll break into that airspace. We should be good to go. So what I'll do is, after we get over these mountains here, I'll start bringing us down, and I'm thinking, let's see, 2,000 would probably be a good approach. So we'll go for 2,000 feet, and we'll stay at 2,000 feet as we pass over the VOR here, and then we'll work our way in. I think And I hope I'm not wrong. I think they're going to direct us to come in landing towards the southwest, because I believe that's the prevailing winds in that neck of the woods. So we're going to hope that's what actually happens. All right, quick check on all of my gauges, make sure everything's looking kosher. Torque, 1163, looks fine to me. ITT is nominal, 583. NP and NG both look fine. Battery, ampage, yeah, the amps, we're drawing less amps because I've got some of the lights turned off, taxi lights, landing lights, all that stuff is turned off. And fuel, we're just at about half a tank. We've still got plenty. We are not about to run out of gas anytime soon. All right, let's go back to the outside view for a little bit. And actually, I'm going to play around with this little sun visor here, because that's kind of cool. I like the sun visor. Almost whacked myself in the head with it, but yeah. You can pull it all the way down. And you can pull it forward like that. Pull it back up. Pretty cool. Kara has one too. Oh, this is to strap yourselves in, so to speak. So I should have strapped Kara in. She obviously does not have her seatbelts on. I'm going to strap myself in too, even though I also don't have my seatbelts on. We are such bad pilots. What is wrong with us, Kara? Our passengers all have their seatbelts on. We don't. Sheesh. They ought to revoke our licenses. Alright. But looks like we are halfway to where I would like us to be to begin our descent. So let's go back to the outside. We'll check out the beautiful Grecian countryside and these lovely mountains. And then we'll begin our top of descent.
Kodiak, November 2907 Kilo, Quebec, contact Athens Center on 135.875. Good day. 135.875 for Kodiak, November 2907 Kilo, Quebec. Athens Center, Kodiak, November 2907 Kilo, Quebec, 8,000 feet.
Kodiak, November 2907 Kilo, Quebec, Athens Center, altimeter 29.74, continue as planned.
Alright, so we're back here again. I kind of like doing a little in the back view here. It's kind of cool. So I'm like a stowaway in my own plane. Now, I'm not 100% certain what they have in mind for like the skydive version. I mean, I think it's just set up to where you could have skydivers, but what I would really love to see, and I've mentioned this before on the Milvis Porter video, I would love to see someone develop a module that will actually allow you to disembark skydivers, like in flight, and have it dynamically change the weight of the aircraft as more and more people jump out. And I want to be able to see the skydivers coming down. Let me go to the outside view here. I want to be able to see the skydivers actually falling and their chutes open up and, you know, little smoke trails that they're usually doing whenever they jump out of a perfectly good airplane. I want to see all of that stuff. So I would love for somebody to develop a module, a plug-in, if you will, for this sim that will allow us to have that experience as well. It doesn't have to be as in-depth as the one that Franda came up with for X-Plane 11. Like, you don't have to have the capability to be a skydiver yourself. I'm okay being a pilot. Because let's face it, I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. But I'll watch other people do it. And that's what I want to do. Alright, let's see how we're doing here. Oh, we're starting to get that bug again. Oh, look, it cleared itself up. How convenient. Alright, well, I'm going to zoom in anyway. So, our next waypoint is, what is that, Sagfo? Or Sigfo? It's a strange name for a waypoint. Yeah, it's definitely Sigfo. Okay. Well, at this point in time, I'm going to set us up for top of descent. So, we're going to bring her down to 2,000 feet. We're almost there, folks. And there she goes correcting. Wait till she's finished doing that. Alright, so 2,000 feet it is. We are over open water, and that is the island that has our waypoint, our VOR that we've got tuned in. So it's just to the south of Skiathos, which is actually that island there. The airport is on this side of the island in a little gully in between the little hill at the end of the island there, and of course the main hill in the central part of the island. So that's what we're going to be aiming for. So we're going to be just to the south of it, and then we're going to bust a left-hand turn to base leg into final. So that is the plan. All right, but let's go ahead and begin our descent. So VS, set you up, and we're going to come down at a nice, healthy clip. 700 feet per minute.
122.1 for Kodiak, November 297 Kilo, Quebec. Tanagra approach Kodiak, November 297 Kilo, Quebec, 7,800 feet.
Kodiak, November 297 Kilo, Quebec, Tanagra approach altimeter 29.83, continue to Sigfo as planned.
Ooh, 2983, it changed. Okay, 2983. How are we doing on wind, by the way? Out of 239, 17 knots. It is definitely breezy today. Holy crap. I hope that will not adversely affect our landing. Alright, but as soon as we reach this waypoint, we should be right around maybe 5,000-ish feet. We've got about 4 miles to go until we hit the waypoint. So, yeah, about a minute, a little over a minute. If I've calculated this correctly, by the time we get to that island, we should be just pulling up on about 2,000 feet. And we're going to want to stay at 2,000 feet because of those hills directly ahead of us. Once we get past the hills, what I'll do is I'm actually going to bring us down to 1,500 feet for the approach. We're going to hold it at 1,500 feet, let the aircraft do its thing to line itself up. We'll take the autopilot off, and then we will manually control our landing. Now, I realize that if I'm in a descent, I should probably pull the power back. I'm not going to worry about it, because in the interest of time, I don't want this to be too long of a video. Even though I'm sure if you're watching this channel, you're probably already used to the fact that my videos are always roughly about an hour long. But yeah, with that having been said, I don't want to be flying all day either, because I've got other stuff that I need to do. Well, we're making good time, though. Look at that. 157 knots is what it's shooting for here. Wind keeps pushing us around, so we keep adjusting. Check my altimeter again. Yeah, it's still 2983. We're good. And we're going to start putting some of the things back on here. So once we get to about 2,000 feet, I'll put the inertial separator back on. We'll also get our landing lights on, and I'm just going to go ahead and put the taxi lights on. You don't have to. Usually you wait until after you've landed, but I'm going to do that anyway just because. And we'll set up our fuel pump as well, which is currently sitting patiently in standby. Alright, one more look outside since we finally got clear skies here. And look at that, I just about nailed that. So we're at 5,000 here, or a little higher than 5,000, but either way, we're coming in. SKP is our VOR that we're shooting for, which is on top of that hill right in front of us. I'm going to set up the drone camera off to this side here, so we catch the nice evening sun and we can get a good picture. Not sure if this will be the thumbnail, but we'll see. We can also set up this camera here. We can go through the 3 static shots that SimWorks Studios has given us. Come on, SimWorks, give me at least a landing gear cam. I don't ask for much from you. I really don't. I need a landing gear cam. Put it like off the left wheel, about halfway to the back, and in height, a little over the left wheel and a little below the strut. That would be perfect, just so I can take those lovely cinematic shots when I'm coming over someplace like St. Bart's, that hill, the infamous hill. We all know that hill. So like this, only pointing this way and much lower down, so that I can actually see the gear in the shot without having to move my head like this. Although, I will say this, SimWorks Studios, kudos on adding a redhead. That was awesome. Appreciate that. Go to this side here. That cargo though. Oh, I forgot there's this camera. Okay, well, you know what? Since we're here, we might as well wait for everything to load up. Holy crap, that took forever. Dang, which means it's probably going to load up when we get back to the plane. But this is that camera that I was telling you about that I think Asobo snuck in. So this is the airport camera. I'm calling it that because I can't think of why else they would have added it and why it would also snap to individual airports. So it goes with your nearest airport to you. And it just so happens this is our destination airport. So this is Skiathos. You can see it says it right there. But that's kind of cool. That'll allow me to, you know, do my little cinematic thing where I look around the airport and show you what the airport itself looks like. I don't know if they've included the interior to this airport, but I do like the fact that you've got little people there and a taxi and all that. As a matter of fact, let's get to ground level. I don't want to spend too much time doing this because then I'm going to miss my turn. Ooh, not that far down. Holy crap, that is... Oh my god! That's nuts. I can't get it to go down slowly. All right, you know what? That'll have to do. So we got a couple here talking. We've got people on this side here. Pretty cool. Let's go inside. Nothing's modeled on the inside of the airport. You know what? That's okay. That's okay. They don't have to do that. I know some developers do that, and I really do appreciate when they do, but it's not required for all airports. So we'll let them slide this time. All the same, though, it looks really good, and that's what we're coming into. So we're going to be landing from that direction. So we're going to be coming in there, and hopefully we'll stop just in time to make that turn. And I say it like that because there's currently a bug with reverse thrust. All right, how are we doing? How are we doing? So we're at 3,000 now. Now I'm going to start pulling the power back. And we'll also get our fuel pump on. Aux pump is on. Advisory says, yes, we're aware advisory. Thank you. Get our taxi lights on. Landing lights on. Inertial separator on. And we're just going to keep coming in. Okay, at this point in time, I'm going to need you, my dear Kara, to get us out of flight following and contact the airport itself.
Tower Kodiak, November 297 Kilo, Quebec, 6 miles east, 2,600 feet.
I'm leaving this up so I see what runway we're
Kodiak,
coming on.
November 297 Kilo, Quebec Tower. Altimeter 29.83, phoneme alphabet equals 6 Microsoft.
Here it goes again.
SPH equals WIHND, wind slash phoneme 295 at 7.
It sounds like it's reading code. How did this pass beta test?
Kodiak, November 297 Kilo, Quebec.
That's just crazy. That is just crazy. Asobo, you need to do better when it comes to these beta tests that you have. That's just not right. There's no reason why something like that should have made it past the testers. Alright, so since this thing is still being controlled by Autopilot, I'm going to bring us down now to about 1,500 feet, and I'm also trying to get us into flap range, so that way we can drop one notch of flaps. And we'll wait to bleed off a little bit more speed, and we'll drop the second notch of flaps. And that'll be our landing flaps. We won't need flaps 3. Now, as far as the whole reverse thrust thing. I should probably put my feet back on the rudder pedal, so let me just move my chair forward slightly. My usual button for toggling reverse thrust does not work currently in this sim, so I will literally have to pull the throttle all the way back to accomplish that. And I gotta add power because we're about to fall out of the sky. As soon as I saw that nose coming up, I was like, uh-oh. Pay more attention to my flying. All right, now we can pull the power back because I want it to be around 80, 85 knots. Okay, so that's our waypoint there that we're heading to. And once we get to that waypoint, as soon as the aircraft has turned itself around and lined up for the runway, we'll take it off of autopilot. There's the airport, which I've of course already shown you in the outside view in that new external fixed camera that they have, the airport camera. And that's another thing, Asobo, you really need to start giving us more information when we get these updates. More than just the release notes. We need like little videos to tell us, hey, by the way, we added new cameras. This is how you access them. This is how you use them. Or, hey, by the way, we changed the functionality of some of these keybinds. You may want to know this information. That's how you prevent the internet from rioting, Asobo. Do this. I don't know how long it's going to take you to make a video. I know for me it takes roughly about an hour to make a video. You can do it in considerably less time. All we need is a 10-minute video just explaining what's changed in this version. Because you know damn well nobody reads the release notes anyway, except for nerds like me. Alright, I'm off my high horse. I'm off my soapbox. Let's get ready to land. Passengers, you got your seatbelts on? Yep, I see yours on. Red-headed lady, yours on? Yep, looks like yours is on. SWS boxes look good. We were joking around, myself and Alex from SWS, that we can change the name, and that is something you can do, actually. The decals that say SWS on those boxes, you can actually find that decal and change it. So if you wanted to make it SPI, Suspicious Products Incorporated, you could do that. You could totally do that.
November 297 Kilo Quebec phoneme alphabet equals X Microsoft UPS PH equals WIHND win slash
here we
phoneme
freaking go.
295 at 7. Cleared to land
That's
runway
all it needs to
19er.
say. That's all it needs to say.
Cleared to land runway 19er Kodiak November 297 Kilo Quebec.
Alright. As soon as she straightens up, I'm going to take the autopilot off. So we're going to go altitude hold off, nav hold off, flight director off, and master AP off. We are considerably high here. I should have brought us down to about 1,000, but I'm going to compensate for that by dropping our power and make sure that everything's full. So fuel conditions up, prop pitch is up. We are way high, but we're going to start coming down now. Trim us up a little bit here. I also don't want to overspeed. Alright, so we should be falling out of the sky like a rock at this point. And I know that's not ideal for piloting, but especially since we're bringing in a STOL bird, we still have a fair amount of power that we can dial in at any point in time to give us that extra push so we don't truly fall out of the sky. And you can see our rate of descent is only between 400 and 700 feet per minute. So we're not doing that bad. But this is a little trick that a buddy of mine who owns a Cessna taught me. Basically just trim yourself up, cut the power, and keep falling like this in a stable attitude, mind you, and with fair enough speed until you see the VASI lights, or I guess in this case the PAPI lights, show you what you want to show you. And then of course you can, you know, put the power back in and that'll help you. So that's the plan, man. So far it's looking good. It's a pretty sprightly descent. Definitely one of my military tactical descents here. But you can already see the PAPI lights. We've got one red on the right, There it is, 2 red. So we'll just pull the power back in. We'll trim ourselves up slightly, because we still want to lose altitude here. Pull the power back, and I'm barely touching the stick, just like minor movements here, because it looks like we are perfectly on glide slope. And as soon as I get down, I want to put my throttle to idle and, yeah, do that manually. I know I can now use touch controllers, but I'll be honest with you folks, I've been using the mouse for so long, I don't even feel like even touching my Oculus Rift touch controllers. Typically, I don't use them much in X-Plane anyway. I only use them to like hit switches. Alright, right about here is good. Throttle idle. Flare slightly. And we'll bring her in. We are down. Don't want to go off the runway though. And let me... Oh, come on, work with me here. Ooh! That was a little sketchy.
Kodiak, November
Brakes going.
7 Kilo, Quebec exit runway when able.
Alright. Thankfully I can just move the throttles to the forward position just to get it out of reverse. Not gonna lie, not my best landing in this thing, but that's partially due to the bug.
7 Kilo, Quebec contact ground on 122.1.
Look at that, there is another Kodiak.
122.1 for Kodiak, November 7 Kilo, Quebec.
Alright, let's go ahead and start turning some stuff off. So landing lights, we'll turn you off. Fuel pump, we won't need you ever again for the rest of this flight, so we'll turn you completely off. Pitot heat, off. Off. Inertial separator will leave on until we're fully stopped. I think that's it. I think that is it. The only other thing that I will want to do is I want to bring this back down to a low idle for taxi. Okay, Kara, if you could please tell them we would like a gate.
Ground Kodiak, November 7 Kilo, Quebec request taxi to the gate.
I'm going to open my window too.
Kodiak, November 7 Kilo, Quebec taxi to gate Bravo 1 using taxiway Alpha Tree Hotel Alpha.
Ah, there we go. Of course, we made the other Kodiak disappear.
Via taxiway Alpha Tree Hotel Alpha Kodiak, November 7 Kilo, Quebec.
And look at that, there's a porter. Now, the only thing I don't know is that the Milviz porter, which honestly, between you and I folks, is the superior porter, or if that is the Microsoft one. I want to say that's the Microsoft one. I realize, you know, free stuff that we're getting, and really shouldn't complain too much because the price was right. But yeah, comparing the Asobo PC6 porter to the Milviz PC6 porter, it's almost no comparison. The Milviz one is just clearly superior. Alright, wait, where did they say we're supposed to come in? B4? Where the heck is B4? Can I come in on S4 since that guy's already there? I'm totally going to come in on S4. That is my new parking spot. Yeah, something doesn't quite match up here. But, aside from that, welcome to Skiathos. Like I said, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, but we're just going to go with that. Sorry in advance. But we're here. We made it safely. And the Kodiak performed flawlessly. Really, really impressed with this. And you know what? I just noticed something. Look at this yoke here. Built by hand in Sandpoint, Idaho. Hey! I know someone who lives in Idaho. I don't even know how to pronounce your state anymore. And I talk to you every day. You know who you are. Austin. Give you a shout out there. So I did not know this about Kodiak. So this is actually built in Idaho. Wow. See, to me, that makes your state famous because they created a really awesome looking bird. All right, but that's about it. So let's go ahead and power everything down. So we'll get our taxi lights off, inertial separator, we can finally turn you off. Strobe lights, I'm gonna turn you off as well. go. And to shut everything off, the easiest thing to do is just that. But we can also feather our prop too while we're at it. Should probably put the flaps up while I'm at it. Okay, so unlock this. Listen to that. You hear that hiss because the cabin was pressurized? Which I'm not sure how accurate that is because of the fact that I've got the storm window open, but it could just be like a weather seal, so to speak, like a rubber seal that is depressurizing when you open the door. I don't know much about the bird in real life, so that's what I'm going to go with. That's what I'm going to go with. All right, let's get this off. And yeah, a Sobo. Yeah, do I even need to say it? I'm pretty sure I don't. I'm going to open my door again. All right, but that will just about do it for us. So let me turn you off, and main fuel off. Nav lights off, beacon lights off. Everything else should be off with the exception of generator and battery. One thing we will need to do, however, we will need to get our passengers out. Now, I'm not going to do that because obviously that involves opening up the weight and balance thing, which I'm not interested in doing right now, but I am going to unlock this door, open this door, and open this door. So there we go. Now we can get out, except of course we can't from inside the bird. So we're going to go back to the front. Sounds like a Metallica lyric. Back to the front. You will do what I say when I say. I'll give you extra huge bonus points if you know what song that is. You will be my friend forever if you can tell me in the comments what song that is. All right, but with that having been said, thank you for watching, folks. This has been BelGeode. This has been another chill video, and we have been showing off the Daher Kodiak by SimWorks Studios. It is scheduled to be released in mid to late December. So hopefully this video will go up just before you actually are able to get this thing in your hands. Even though this is a preview and not an official review, I am going to tell you right now, run, do not walk when it comes to purchasing this aircraft. This is really good. If you enjoy this kind of flying and if you enjoy this kind of aircraft, even if you're not so much a huge fan of, say, the G1000, it's totally worth it. You've got the Asobo Cessna Caravan, and then you've got this, which is on a level above it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Highly, highly recommend it. All right, I'm thinking I'm going to put us someplace where I can see our back passenger as well. I need a thumbnail for this, and I always like to do my thumbnails after I've landed, so there we go. That's a good position for our thumbnail. And that'll do it for me. So thank you as always for watching. As I stated, this is BelGeode, and don't forget to like if you appreciate what you've just seen. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to get notifications as to when I put any of the official MSFS videos up, or more of these chill vids, as well as any other game/flight simulator that I play. And there are a few. All right, folks. I will talk to you all really soon, and ciao.